What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of F1 Fantasy Pole Position. It is Monday, December 1st. My name is Ewan. On today's episode, I'm going to give you my 24th and final team selection video of the 2025 F1 Fantasy season for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It's December 1st. Happy holidays. If you are in the giving mood, don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are well over 4,000 subs on the drive to 5,000 for the remainder of the year and the 2026 season whenever that comes around. I hope you guys are all doing well. Got a little bit of bedhead, I showered last night after the live stream for the race review because I had to wake up quite early to get this out. So hopefully you guys appreciate that. I know you will. But yeah, instead of just rambling on, I'm going to get into the team selection. But not without first thanking each and every one of you for making this the biggest season in the channel's history by far. Just insane numbers you guys have put out for me. So I really appreciate all the support throughout the season. You can see some of the numbers on the screen here. Over 3,500 new subscribers, 400,000 views, 1,700 comments. I've given out 126 videos so far this season. This is 127, and one very grateful F1 Fantasy content creator, and probably one very grateful F1 Fantasy content creator's spouse who will be very happy to have me back full-time for just like 6 weeks until the 2026 season gets underway. But I really just wanted to say, thank you so much. This season has been incredible. I really didn't think this would take off the way it has, and each and every one of you makes waking up early, staying up late, all that stuff totally worth it. So just give yourself a pat on the back from me to you with the holiday season coming around, and just still madness. I'm really actually truly super thankful for each and every one of you this season. Enough of that sappy crap. Get that out of here, Ewan. Okay. It's getting a little dusty here for a minute. But anyways, the Yas Marina circuit. Oh, no, just the Yas Marina circuit. Never mind. 16 corners, 58 laps, 2 DRS zones. It hasn't really had any exciting drama here ever. So I think a three-way title fight will be the first time ever that Abu Dhabi is remembered for something. We'll just see how it plays out. Last 3 seasons, 4th for overtakes, 4 DNFs in total, 1.3 per season. 2024 podium was Norris, Sainz, and Leclerc, where the constructors battle went down to the final race of the season, and now the World Drivers' Championship is going down to the final race of the season. I don't even care if you don't like F1 Fantasy and for some reason you're watching this video. You have to watch this final race. Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, and Oscar Piastri have put F1 on the global sports map this week. So great job by them for increasing the drama. Going over the Pirelli preview here, 2024 tires for the C3, the C4, the C5, and same old for 2025. So not a lot has changed. No tire limits here like there were in Qatar this weekend. So yeah, it'll just be plain old, probably a one stop. We'll see how it goes. Going to the weather forecast, 29 degrees Celsius each and every day. Very predictable. I guess that's why maybe Abu Dhabi, outside of the tremendous amount of money they probably paid to get the final race of the season, is also making it so it's not weather dependent. But 29 degrees, 84 degrees Fahrenheit, nothing to really worry about in terms of rain. A little bit hazy, I guess. I think George Russell mentioned it in qualifying during Q3. He was get the clear visor ready instead of a tinted visor, I guess, during the evening sessions for Q3 at Qatar. So maybe that has something to do with it. I highly doubt it. These are the 20 best drivers in the world, I think. And so not a lot to kind of be concerned about in terms of the weather this week. Tier B beasts. Usually I would put budget builder here, but I didn't really know what to do with Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands here because budget building does not matter for the final race of the season. It does not matter if you go up, if you go down. Who cares? So on the screen here, I have picked 5 of the Tier B drivers that are in some squads, in most squads, and not a lot of squads, and just kind of gone about my business here. So picked percentage, average points per race over the last 5, and previous finishes at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Behrman is in 71.2% of the teams, 14.6 points per race over the last 5. Actually, I guess I should just list them off here for the podcast listeners. Behrman, Tsunoda, Sainz, Albon, Gasly are the 5 drivers on the screen. Tsunoda's in 7.6% of the teams, 14.4 points per race over the last 5. It sounds like There's going to be an official announcement this week about his fate in the Red Bull Academy or whatever you want to Red Bull driving program. It sounds like Yuki Tsunoda will not be on the 2026 F1 grid. And usually I would say that that gives him a little bit of a boost to be driver of the day, but considering there's a three-way title fight, I don't think he's going to stand a chance of getting driver of the day. Although Carlos Sainz getting the sneaky podium yesterday nearly pipped Max Verstappen to those 10 extra points. So something to think about there. He has finished 12th, 8th, 11th, and 4th here in the past 4 years. So Tsunoda has a pretty good track record around the Yas Marina circuit. However, he is also set to miss FP1 as Arvid Lindblad will step in for Yuki Tsunoda. He still needs to fill that allocation for the 2025 season. Next up here is Carlos Sainz, 71.2% picked as well. 12.2 average points per race over the last 5. He's finished 2nd, 18th, 4th, and 3rd here. So he likes the Abu Dhabi circuit. And obviously those were when he was in a Ferrari. However, the Williams is scoring more podiums than Ferrari recently, or at least the Lewis Hamilton one. So I don't think we can overlook Carlos Sainz as an option. If you have him in your F1 fantasy team, I see no reason to get him out of your squad. Alex Albon here as well. He's scoring 8 points per race over the last 5, but it did eventually come back to bite him. I was talking about it last week in the Qatar team selection, how he's kind of been like getting lucky a little bit and kind of recovering during the drive. It bit him in Vegas as well. Where he'd be qualifying low and just kind of making his way through the field, like a very Sergio Perez 2023-2024 effect for Alex Albon. But it did come back to bite him in the last couple of races. He's only in 0.8% of the teams. If Williams looks flying, you could take a differential on him, but honestly, you'll probably save more money going down to Yuki Tsunoda, and you can find a way to get up to Kimi Antonelli if you're in that Alexander Albon price range. 11th, 14th, 13th, and 4th here in his previous 4 finishes at Abu Dhabi. That 4th coming in Red Bull. And then Pierre Gasly, the man, the myth, the legend. The man that took this final fastest lap of the 2025 sprint season. Put some respect on his name. 37.8% picked. 6.8 average points per race over the last 5. Got super unlucky yesterday. Probably should have scored a boatload more points for F1 fantasy teams, but got kind of tangled up with Nico Hülkenberg here, and it kind of failed a little bit, but 7th, 13th, 14th, and 5th in his previous 4 editions. So Gasly's also kind of like Sainz. I see no reason to kind of move him out of our F1 fantasy squads, especially with the way he's driving that Alpine now. He has 10 Q3 appearances. That is madness in an Alpine. So great job by Pierre Gasly. Hopefully when they get that Mercedes power unit in their system next season, that Gasly can be a more consistent finisher in F1 fantasy. All right, now we're getting into the big stuff here. Choose your character, Pokemon style here. Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri. I will let it be up to you in the comments who is Charmander, who is Squirtle, and who is Bulbasaur. I'm not going to get into this debate, but let's just say it could get feisty. So over on the screen here, I've got Norris, Verstappen, Piastri, average points per race over the last 5, and then the betting odds from oddschecker.com. So these are US odds as of right now, 7:30 on Monday, December 1st. So I've got the betting odds for the race itself, and then I've got betting odds for the World Drivers' Championship, because that may matter when it comes to driver of the day. So over the last 5 races, Lando Norris is averaging 29.6 points per race. I fudged this. Where is it? Where's the flag? Red flag, loosey-goosey math for probably the last time of the 2025 season. Take a drink if you are playing along at home. Norris and Piastri, they have their Vegas scores pre-disqualification in there because I didn't want to have them 2 down, and it still doesn't really paint that pretty of a picture for Oscar Piastri because Norris at 29.6 points per race over the last 5, Verstappen 30.7, and Piastri 17.6 over the last 5, even without the disqualification. And I was looking at the statistics on F1FantasyTools.com today, which is a fantastic website. You should have been signed up for it all season long with my promo code UN50. Hopefully there'll be another one in 2026 season. We'll get that sorted over the off season. Verstappen now leads in points per race for this season. I did not see that come. If you had told me that at the summer break, I would have thought you were cuckoo crazy. So Verstappen, 30.7 points per race over the last 5 races. In the betting odds category, we've got Verstappen at plus 165, Lando Norris at plus 250, and Oscar Piastri at plus 333. So that means, if you're not familiar with the American betting system, that means Verstappen is favorite, Norris is second favorite, and Piastri is third favorite. However, for the World Drivers' Championship, Norris is minus 300, Verstappen is plus 310, and Piastri is plus 1400. So Oscar is a distant favorite to win the World Drivers' Championship at this point. It makes sense. He's in third. He has somehow given up a 104-point lead to Verstappen now. Norris is still the favorite, though, because all Lando needs to do is Lando needs to finish on the podium and he will be the World Drivers' Championship. However, if Verstappen wins the race and Lando finishes off the podium, Max Verstappen will add another to that because he will be 5 times in a row World Drivers' Champion. So it's going to be super interesting. This is just something you have to think about. We can check on the odds there, but I would think whoever wins the championship is going to get driver of the day. And there is a scenario where Verstappen wins the race, but is not World Drivers' Champion. And is that going to come into play? So I got to say, the final battle for me is between Lando Norris and Max Verstappen. And it's kind of wild because with the way the budget builder works, Max Verstappen is actually going to end the season more expensive than Lando Norris, which I don't think I saw that coming at the summer break either. So it's been a wild second half of the F1 Fantasy 2025 season. And I've kind of just relayed out some like points here, like what could happen in the race. So in qualifying, let's say Max is first and Lando is second. That's 10 points to Max, 9 points to Lando. In the race, Lando is a little bit cautious off the line. So say he finishes third in the race and Max wins. That's 25 points to Max, 15 points to Lando. Fastest lap is going to probably go to Verstappen in clean air, I would reckon. 10 points for him, 0 points for Lando. And then driver of the day, 10 points if this is how it all shakes out, Lando will probably get driver of the day because he will be World Drivers' Champion. 34 total points for Lando, 45 points for Max Verstappen. So it kind of shakes out where it's really tight and close in F1 Fantasy, where you can really go with either of these options. Like, obviously, say Lando picks up fastest lap and like finishes third, but also gets driver of the day. Like, that's 44 points for him compared to 35 points for Max Verstappen. So it will swing quite a bit with these bonuses. I'm hoping in 2026 that we kind of reduce these bonuses because guessing about this stuff is not what I enjoy in F1 Fantasy. So we'll see how it plays out over FP1, FP2, FP3. Side note is that Oscar Piastri is going to sit out FP1. He also needs to fill his rookie allocation for the 2025 season. So he will miss out on FP1. So he will be a tiny bit behind Norris and Verstappen in terms of prep for the F1 Fantasy, or just the F1 weekend, but also the F1 Fantasy weekend. So we'll see how that all shakes out. I'll have my final thoughts video on Friday evening. Don't worry about that. But let's get into my final team selection of the F1 Fantasy 2025 season. Alrighty, everyone, here it is, the T1 squad, the squad that is now top 1,700 in the world. The dream for the top 1K is hanging on by the threadiest of threads. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to work it out. But say I wasn't just playing for the top 1K and I want to score the most points this season, because as I've been saying, most of the season, hope is not a strategy. So I'm not going to play that way for the final race of the season. Norris, Piastri, Alonso, Sainz, Gasly, McLaren, Red Bull. That is the final team that went into Qatar. It did okay, extra DRS boost. No Max Verstappen hurts quite a lot. So to get to a Norris Verstappen lineup, which is probably the most optimal lineup, I would say, I am going to have to take a hit, and I don't think I want to take a hit. So that is not very pleasant at all, because yeah, no one wants that. See, actually, I can't even get there. I'm 0.1 short. So I'm going to have to make a decision between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. If I had to lock it in right now, I love doing this exercise. I think I'm going to go with Max Verstappen. I don't think we can kind of bet against him at this point, like I have done in a couple of races down the stretch, and that has burned me dearly. And that would leave me 0.9 million in the bank to kind of go wherever I'd like in the B tier bracket. So Pierre Gasly is 6.5 million. As much as I love the guy, as much as he has been a legend, having an Alpine in your squad feels like it will eventually come back to bite you. and leaving 7.4 million in the bank. Isaac Hadjar is right there, who may have been the most unlucky man in Qatar, got knocked out in Q2 in 11th, barely, and then suffered a puncture at the end of the race to cause him going almost into the negative points in F1 Fantasy. Negative 12 positions lost, but he was like running 7th or something with 2 laps to go. So that would be pretty nice. I'd actually really like that. He'll probably get a boost with the news that he'll be driving a Red Bull in 2026. That hasn't been made official yet as of the time of recording, but I'm assuming if you're watching this after Tuesday afternoon, it should be official by then. And those might be very simple moves. Lando out for Verstappen, and then Gasly out for Hadjar. I keep Alonso because why not? Keep the legend in for a little bit. He did well enough yesterday. What did he? 0.2. I think he was 1 point short of a max price rise. So 12 points for Alonso is not bad at all. We'll see how Aston Martin looks. I guess if Aston Martin does look dismal and I want to keep Gasly in, I'm not entirely sure what kind of route I can go. Nico Hülkenberg, Gabby Bortoleto, if Sauber looks okay as well, I could get out of the Alonso business. That would be okay. I don't think there's any reason for me to get out of the Carlos Sainz business, but if I'm looking at it, what could I upgrade to? There was 8.6 in the bank. Up to Ocon, I don't really like that. So Carlos Sainz will be staying in my team. Lando Norris to Max Verstappen feels like a pretty nice move. Keeping Red Bull in the squad, unless Mercedes just looks out of this world good in Abu Dhabi, where it's like I have to get on them, otherwise I'm going to get hurt a little bit. But I like Red Bull as a differential. No interest in getting to Ferrari. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about Ferrari at all. Charles Leclerc finished 3rd here last year. Lewis Hamilton, just get them to 2026. But I think if I had to lock in my team right now, I'd probably go with something like Verstappen, Piastri, Alonso, Sainz, and then bring in Isaac Hadjar. I actually really like this team. So yeah, that's what I would do at 7:40 Germany time on Monday, December 1st. This is the team that I would lock in, but fortunately I have 5 days, 7 hours and 19 minutes to go. And I will be here for 2 hours before the deadline to go over our final decisions of the F1 Fantasy 2025 season. Hopefully the rest of y'all are there as well. But that'll do it for the final team selection episode of the 2025 F1 Fantasy season. It's kind of sad, like sad tear. But I mean, it'll be Melbourne before we know it. With so much testing going on in the 2026 offseason, I'm sure I'll be around during the offseason. But if this is the final video you watch of my channel for the 2025 F1 Fantasy season, just once again, like thank you. You guys have been incredibly supportive the entire season. I really, really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to getting a little bit of timeouts, just resetting for the 2026 season. That will be nice, but I will be back for 2026. Do not worry. This ugly mug will be right on your YouTube channels once again for the entire 24 races of the 2026 season. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a fantastic end to the 2025 season. I'm not going anywhere. I've got the Q&A live stream on Thursday night. I've got the final thoughts on Friday night. I got the deadline stream on Saturday, and then Sunday, hopefully there will be a race review, but I kind of have to work some things out because my parents are in town. So it might need to be a later than usual race review, but like I'd love to talk about the final race of the season, obviously. But like I said, hopefully you guys are all doing well. Hopefully Qatar went well for you. Hopefully your Abu Dhabi Grand Prix prep is also going to go well for you. And once again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you next time.